Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. We've got another episode, and the guest today, I would say definitely, I don't always use that term, definitely legit. I sound like the kids. Okay, definitely legit. He's a builder, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, just 2/3. All right, I'm not a math person, but that's like 60 something percent, right? 2/3. That's the Cal Poly admission for qualifying students who start at Allan Hancock College, a community college in Santa Maria, California. And Cal Poly's overall transfer rate, um, what is it, boss?
I'm gonna say it's 20-25% is the
20, 25%.
and their admit rate to freshmen is somewhere around 6%.
We gotta unpack that. Hancock has held the number one transfer to Cal Poly spot for probably 17, 18 years. And now they brought this to the Cal Poly campus. You are actually offering some BA degrees that we're gonna unpack. My guest today, he's not a climber, he's not a dreamer, he's certainly not a coaster. He is absolutely a builder. Kevin Walthers, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me. It's good morning.
Yes, yes, it is. Most college presidents do a good job talking about stuff. Closing the achievement gaps, keeping our students, in year two and graduating. But you're closing that geography gap. That's what I'm saying. You're closing a geography gap.
Right.
Talk to me about that. Where did that desire come from? How does that just get you out of bed in the morning?
I'm working on trying to prove that I invented the phrase higher education desert. I was putting it through some of the AI tools, trying to find the earliest use of it. And the best I've come up with so far is from back in 2015, 16, sometime when somebody used that. And I had previously used it in a slide presentation I did. Because we looked around our community and we realized there's no higher education opportunity for our kids. Our kids are low income. Many of our students are the children of farm workers, and Cal Poly, like I said, they're admitting something like 6% of their students. UCSB to our south is 60 miles away. That's not a commutable distance for a family. So we really had to start thinking about building, opportunities for people in the community because the other side of what we saw was that families weren't sending their kids to college because they thought it was too expensive and they thought there was no point if they couldn't get a 4-year degree. So we started down a road of building a college going culture in our community, and we've seen some really good results from that effort.
So you've got two major feeders within your
Right.
system. You've got Santa Maria, and then another system. Is it
Lompoc,
Lompoc?
Lompoc,
Yeah,
yep.
Lompoc. Where if you think about just the overall CSU system, they're applying and accepted at about 98%, but fewer than one third are actually enrolled. Is that also a proximity issue?
Yeah, it's absolutely a proximity issue, and it's for one of the stats that is daunting for Santa Maria and Guadalupe, our two northern part of our district cities. Only 40% of the adults over the age of 25 have a high school diploma. I'm sorry, 40% don't have a high school diploma.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but I mean, still, either way, that's an incredible number either way. So we have families that are working, two parents working 2 and 3 jobs, sometimes more. And when their high school kids graduate from high school, even though they will be accepted, like you said, 98% of those students are being accepted into a CSU. They can't afford to leave for the cost of going to a CSU, for the cost that would be to the family if they have sibling care issues. Um, so the path has to be on us. It has to be on us to make sure that we build a pathway for those students to give
Love
them the
that.
opportunity to get
Love
through.
that. Yeah. So I I work with campuses on a regular basis that are trying to blow up their pipelines and trying to figure out new ways of attracting students to come. But I don't think this is a pipeline problem. It's certainly not an achievement gap problem. You've got high achievers across your region. So how do you go in and probe to figure out what that problem actually is, and how do you captivate not to manipulate people to pay money for something that they don't need, but the need is absolutely there. So what has been your posture? What's been your approach to your local community?
So the best part is, yeah, it it doesn't take a whole lot of research work and things to figure out what's going on in our community. We know we have 3 families living in a house. The cost of, we're on the rural part of the Central Coast, but it's, you know, the cost of housing is still through the roof. And what we needed to do is find a way to let families know you can go to college and you can afford to go to college. And we started, geez, it's been 9 years ago, towards building what we call the Hancock Promise. And the Hancock Promise guaranteed, at first, we just guaranteed the first year of tuition free for students. And we set it up in a way to promote student success. Students have to take math, they have to take English,
Mm.
and they have to go full time, because we know the most likely college graduates are the ones who leave high school, immediately enroll full time, and take math and English. That's the best path. So that's the path we started putting students on, and then we work towards, now we are able to tell students it's 2 years of free tuition if you'll meet the requirements of the program.
Wow.
And we're seeing it happen, right? So we're seeing more. Our enrollment's actually down overall from peak years back in the mid 2010s, but we're graduating more students than we've ever graduated.
Well,
And
perhaps you figured out a niche. I mean, if you're serving at a deeper level,
yeah,
I mean, the policy assumption I think in higher ed is that, if academically ready students will figure out the financial piece.
right.
But your data actually might be kind of pushing against that a little bit.
Well, and we're yeah, so what we're showing, what we tell the parents, what we used to tell the parents is, we have financial aid for you. We have Pell Grants, we have state grants, we have tuition waivers if you're an undocumented student who meets the state requirements for the tuition waiver. We have all that. Just come and fill out the paperwork. And when you tell that to a family that is struggling to make ends meet, and you say, fill out the paperwork and we'll let you know, they hear that as a no.
Yeah.
So we tell them now it's free. Come to school and it's free. They're still filling out all that same paperwork. They're still filling out all that financial aid. And now we're waiving the cost of their tuition, putting their Pell Grants in their pocket, helping them get through school. And, the results are, you know, what we predicted would happen, that we'll have more of our local kids doing better and graduating. And my favorite stat right now is, in 3 of the last 6 years, we've graduated more Latino students than we had total graduates my first year here. So,
Are you an HSI?
oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
we're definitely, it's our community is 65-70% Latino.
fantastic.
And our, early on when I got here, our graduating classes didn't look like our community. Now our graduating classes look like our community. Our student government looks like our community. We started to invest in having students who have all of the talent in the world and just needed to know that they could afford to be here.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. When you can take that cognitive dissonance away from a family
yeah,
who will have to it's that, what is it? The friction within the system? There's gotta be a new term that you can also invent just about that, eliminating the hope friction, where they know any given day, I have the hope that I can go to this campus for free. No,
yeah,
no cuesta nada.
yep,
It's absolutely free. That takes all the cognitive dissonance. It's not free plus or and you've got to fill out the no. It's known and that's just liberating. I would imagine to families that generations ago would not have even thought about this opportunity.
right. And not even generations ago. I mean, 10 years ago, they were
Yeah,
not thinking about this opportunity.
correct,
So, yeah.
correct. So you're not just running a community college, you went to one.
I did. I went to Eastfield College, and which is now the Eastfield campus of Dallas College System. But I'm a proud Harvester. I did a year there before I transferred to the University of Texas in Austin, and finished up my degree there. So
You are the Hancock Promise. You really are. You just didn't have one at the time.
yeah, I don't know about that. It seemed like I was paying a lot back then, I mean, it was still actually, when I got to the University of Texas, in 1986, there were protests out on the West Mall because they had tripled tuition that year, and it went from $4 to $12 a unit. And
I'd be fighting too. You know what?
and now you look at, I mean, when we think about the price, the cost of undergraduate education hasn't changed. The price has changed. The price that families pay has changed. And states, red states and blue states alike, have pulled money out of their higher education systems and told the systems to replace it with tuition. Those are taxes on college students to pay for general government. There's no other way to describe it. And when we look at the affordability of crisis in public higher education, it is almost completely driven by the legislature and their willingness to, sort of hide these budget cuts on the college campuses.
I think most community college presidents are coming from research universities, many of them that I bump into. They see the community college maybe as a little stepping stone or a bottom rung, that leads to someplace else. I think you see where you're at right now is really the destination, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. It's funny. I was at a conference a couple weeks ago, and one of the big search consulting firms was there, and the consultant I know, and we were laughing about how she doesn't call me anymore for jobs because she knows I'm where I want to be,
Yeah.
and it's liberating, right? It's good. It's good because people on my campus know I'm not looking for the next big thing, that I'm in it with them. We're all, we're all in this together, and we're all in this for our community. We have a very unique community here where, we're making a difference. In 20 years, nobody's going to remember our names, but they're going to remember what we did. And that's going to be the best part of it.
So you're in the process of, or you've already started this 4-year degree program, right?
With Cal Poly, correct, and
Correct.
Channel Islands, yeah. So
Okay.
literally the first meeting that I had when I got here, this is my 13th year. The first community meeting I had was with a group that had done a big research project about how to bring 4-year degrees in
Wait a second. 13 years?
13 years,
Yeah. The average, I think, in California is 5.
a little less than 5 right
So
now. That's
you're on
correct.
your
Awesome.
whoopsie. We're back. That was such a profound statement.
Yeah,
You're on your second presidency,
yeah. This is my
and you
second.
haven't moved.
Yeah, and I'm not moving. This is no, it's sort of ironic that you bring it. I'm the unofficial keeper of tenure in the state of California, so I have this giant spreadsheet that I'm sure would be much more efficient if it was a database. But I keep that and send it out a couple times a year and let people know the tenure rankings for California service, current college service, and total service if they came from out of state. So
So
um,
convince me that this workaround offering 4-year degrees on your campus is a better opportunity for your local community.
so it's Cal Poly, right? I mean, what we do is second to none. Our faculty are great, and we have areas where we could offer 4-year degrees, and they would be every bit as good as any university degree. But for our students, when they have that Cal Poly degree, when you're on the central coast of California, which stretches from Ventura, up to just south of San Francisco, Cal Poly's the gold standard.
Yeah.
That's the piece of paper, and it travels internationally, right? So when our student, a kid of a farm worker, can go to get a job and they can hand somebody a resume that says I graduated from Cal Poly, that's huge. And the fact that I mean, it was a long political battle, where, I was not afraid to make some people angry in the CSU system and in the state. Our state legislator stepped in, Greg Hart, and really helped us out at the end. And then Cal Poly stepped up. Cal Poly could have done the very minimum they had to do, and they didn't. They promised that they would do 4 degrees on our campus. So this fall, we'll start offering a business degree to go along with a sociology degree they already had. So that'll be two, and then every 2 years we'll add another one. So that'll be probably something in education, maybe something in agriculture, but whatever they will be locally driven, locally needed degree programs for our students. So
Life altering.
yeah,
Absolutely life altering. I have a son who applied to Cal Poly and was put on the wait list. So I know, I know the demand there.
I I have
Absolutely.
a kid in my house who is a transfer student who is eagerly anticipating the end of March when he finds out if he got into Cal Poly. So
Fingers crossed,
yeah,
boss. You're also pretty good about raising money. You're not the director of foundation, but you've figured out how to raise a few million bucks.
Yeah, I think the key to that is setting your sights on the big thing and being relentless about that. Um,
So that's a permanent endowment.
Permanent endowment, we have over $10 million set aside for the promise. Plus, we have scholarship endowments, and I think we're around $25 million endowment in total, which for a community college is pretty good. And we're trying to grow that more. The real I think the real thing, and this is hard for community college presidents, I know, but you have to build a team and you have to let the team run the college. So that my job is get out there in the community, be an advocate for us. I go to, every rubber chicken event there is and up and down, in three different valleys. My job is to be the ambassador for Allan Hancock College. And, um, if you start asking me details about what goes on, in academics or students, or I don't
That's
know.
not your
I
job.
don't know. That's, yeah,
No,
that's somebody else's job.
that is you're the strategic leader of that campus that is fully charged to develop partnerships and, engagement opportunities. You're playing the role very, very presidentially, boss.
Well, that sounds great. That sounds a little more highfalutin than I would have framed it, but we are. I just feel like I'm eating a lot of tri-tip and drinking a lot of red wine. So
So, is this true? You got 60% of Hancock Promise students transferring to four-year universities. And
sort of.
okay,
I mean,
what
it's not a one-to-one deal. So what we've seen is we've seen that Lompoc and Santa Maria high school districts, who serve very low income students, like I said, the farm worker kids, they are very good at getting those students to apply to go to CSU. And
what I'm
90,
getting at, I don't care what the number is, but
yeah,
you're developing this talent pipeline that is pulling people out of your community. If
yeah.
for somebody else's economy, does that bother you at all?
I don't know it's for somebody else's economy because many of our students come back. So
Okay.
we're, if students who leave here are very much about coming back and helping their community. So we're not seeing a brain drain like you might see in some other areas. We're seeing students that really want to be part of the place where they grew up, and even those that do leave spend a lot of time coming back. We have, especially in our STEM areas, we have students that we just had a faculty member who did a sabbatical catching up with our STEM graduates all around the state in the Western United States. And they're still very engaged with their hometown. So we're not seeing that as pushing those students away. And even if we were, why shouldn't a child of a farm worker from Guadalupe have the same opportunity that my kid has?
That's what we're talking about
Yeah, I mean, that
right
they
there.
should have that same opportunity, and if we can't give them that opportunity here, shame on us.
Yeah, it's not a scarcity issue
Yeah.
at all. And this isn't your first rodeo. You're quite experienced. You've been on a number of campuses. You've watched dozens of reforms come and go. Yeah, community college free tuition, that's not a new thing. I
No.
mean, and many of the initiatives that I've watched have moved the needle about 2 inches. What's different about the Hancock Promise? What's different about what you're doing?
I think that the difference is telling families who understand that college, everybody needs to go to college. I don't care what the media pundits like to say, everyone needs to go to college. And welding is college, right? If students want to come to Hancock on the Promise and get a welding degree, we got you, no problem. You don't even have to take the English and math classes in. You just go take your welding classes. We got you. So parents understand, the parents who work the hardest understand that their bosses went to college. They may not know exactly what that means, but they know if I want my kid to be the boss, they need to go to college. And so when they send them to us and our faculty are so good at taking those students. I mean, it's more than just teaching them English, math, and sociology. It's teaching them how to be college students.
Wow.
And
Wow,
so
wow,
our
wow.
faculty are really good at teaching students how to get to that next level. So when they go to a four-year university, our students outperform the native students. I mean, it's tremendous. We see that over and over again. When our engineering students transfer to Cal Poly, The faculty there have told me many times, they're like, "We love it. We love your kids because they come in and we're trying to teach, we're trying to teach our native students how to use the CAD machines or how to use whatever those machines are, the 3D machines that make that
You're
take a piece
printing.
of
Yep.
metal, you
We're
know,
printing.
all of that stuff where you have to program that stuff. We're trying to teach our students how to do that, and your students are already over there doing it, right? They know how to do that already because we've taught them how to do that. And
Creating college ready, that like you
yeah,
said,
yeah,
creating it college
exactly.
ready is
Yeah,
not necessarily academically,
100%.
within a specific topic area, but yeah, that readiness piece. All right, last last area, we got to keep all of these superheroes boots on the ground. I got to make sure that you're really human. So we're going to do what we call a lightning round, boss. You ready?
All right.
What's a quote that you live by?
It's from The Untouchables at the end when Elliot Ness says, "Never give up until the fight is finished."
So good. Morning person or night owl?
I would like to be a night owl, but as I get older, I keep falling asleep in my chair. So, but I'm not much of a morning person.
How about In and Out or Jocko's?
Orchid Burger, Hitching Post, and the Swiss.
There's the unpaid advertisement, folks. How about a decision that you'd make 10x over and over again?
Um, we have some people on our campus that I've hired, and it has just been my pleasure to work with them, and I would continue to hire. I'm not going to name one because if I name one, I'll offend the others. But
I get that.
we've got some really good people, and people that in a couple of cases, people thought they're not ready, and they proved they're ready.
I love that. I love that. That collective intelligence is
Yeah.
what you've got. Well, with that in mind, how about a best idea that your system has launched that wasn't your idea?
I'll tell you the best idea we've launched here that I didn't do, and I we had a we had a summer retreat 2 years ago, 2 summers ago, and I challenged our managers. Let's find some things that we can do as administrators that doesn't have to go through the bureaucracy. Appropriately so. All of our academic programs they go through the academic senate. We work with committees. But what's something that you've looked out there and said we need to be doing that, and we can just get it done. And we had a group of managers decide we weren't serving Guadalupe, which is a community about 10 miles west of Santa Maria, very much a low income farm worker, laboring community. So we're not serving that community. And they declared themselves to be the Quad Squad. And they were going to offer classes 4 nights a week in Guadalupe. And I was excited by this. And I thought this is going to be fantastic. This is summer of 24, 25, summer of 25. And I'm sorry, summer of 24. We'll launch these in fall of 25. No, they got it done by January.
Hustle.
We're, and yesterday, we were lucky yesterday. One of our state senators, Adam Schiff, was in our region. He came to the college and they were telling us they'd just been to Guadalupe, and the people in Guadalupe were telling them how important this place was. They just offered that to us, like,
Yeah,
Hancock's
unsolicited.
here. And that's just all from a team led by people who understand our community and understand what can be done to support people that are often overlooked in the world.
Best lesson that you've learned from your students?
Compassion, compassion. Especially these Gen Z students. If you tell them, "Hey, I've got a job and I'll pay you $20," they'll do it. If I tell them, "I've got a job and I'll pay you $18 and it'll help your neighbor," they will run through walls for that job.
Right there.
And they
Right there.
anything they can do to help their neighbors, help their community, they're on it. And we see it in our students every single day in what they're doing.
Folks, this guy ain't going nowhere, but if he wasn't a college president, what would you be doing?
I would I would probably be a State Farm agent. I can when I got into higher ed, I was working for the Utah legislature and I wanted to get out of that and I was going to go work for higher ed and I was also filling out the paperwork to become a State Farm agent at the same time. So,
Like a good neighbor. There
yeah,
you go.
exactly.
So, what would high school teacher Kevin, probably in Texas, think of you now?
I think high school teacher Kevin would be proud of what we're doing because high school teacher Kevin was often frustrated by the inanities of bureaucracy.
Mm.
And I learned something from that time where I had a friend in grad school who taught me. I was telling him about some of the nonsense that happened in my old high school, and he said, there's fat rabbits and there's skinny rabbits. We don't have time to chase the skinny rabbits, and so that's what we do here. We go after the fat rabbits, and I feel like I can facilitate for people. If you do the right thing for students, the rest will take care of itself.
So good. One word for Hancock's future.
Right? You're gonna need shades. How's that for a Gen X answer?
That's fantastic, 80s child. Hey, how about AI? Last one, AI versus your best faculty member. Who's winning?
I'll take my worst faculty member against AI.
There, right there. I've never heard such an awesome answer. Everybody, boss, this has been a great exchange. I think many lessons here, but the access problem in American higher ed system, it's it's not about really students wanting degrees. It's about systems built for people who really couldn't afford to leave their systems. And I think that's what we're learning here is how a builder can truly, with intention, move in, listen greatly to the community, and begin the building process with hustle, right? To build something that does last for generations to come. So really appreciate you being on the show here today, Kevin.
I appreciate those. I appreciate being invited.
How do they learn more about this Bulldog Pride that you have going on? Where do they find you?
HancockCollege.edu or find me on LinkedIn. We I'm not much on the social media, but I like to keep what's going on at our college first and foremost on LinkedIn.
You
So
got a killer banner in the background with that bulldog on it. I
yeah,
love it.
that's it. All designed in house. That's in house graphic artwork that we.
Well, we know that bulldogs, once they bite down on something, it's nearly impossible to release those jaws. And I love I love your tenacity, boss. And it's just been a privilege having you on the show today. That's the show, folks. Peace. Stay healthy.